Hi, my name is Evelyn and I'm from Yodo1. So recently I sat down with Ivan Panasenko, who is an indie developer that's partnered with us on two of his mobile games, Ailment and Endurance. These are two story-driven sci-fi mobile games, so if you haven't checked them out, make sure that you do. So we sat down and we talked about his insight into game development, how he got started himself, monetization of his games, how he keeps his community happy, and we even talked a little bit about his upcoming third game. Before we get started, if you are a developer yourself or you're just interested in how to monetize your mobile games, make sure you check the link in the description below. And as always, if you think this video was useful or you enjoyed it, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe so that we know what content to make for you. All right. Hi, Ivan. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having time to talk with me. My name is Evelyn, and I'm from Yodo1, and we want to make an interview for our YouTube channel so that we can learn more about you and your passion about making games.
Hi.
So,
Yeah, hi. Thanks for having me.
yeah, no worries. So, you've actually been working with Yodo1 longer than me. So, I found out that you've recently started learning how to make games, right? It's only been a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been like I started around 2017, but then I had like a gap, so I didn't work for 1 year. So I can say it's been like around 2 years since I basically started. Yeah.
Yeah, so how did you get into that? Like, it's kind of random, maybe, for some people to just start making games. Did that start from a passion of like gaming as you were a kid, or where did that come from?
I actually it's been a while since I've like played games a lot because I used to play a lot when I was in uni or when I was at school, and then
Mm-hmm.
after I don't know since I started doing computer graphics because I'm a computer graphic artist, yeah. So I've started doing it like around like 14 years ago, like so it kind of I transitioned from games to computer graphics, and I
Okay.
found it more interesting for myself than actually playing games because I could actually create something, myself. But
Okay.
and they were not. I mean, I wasn't making any game. It was mostly some kind of cinematics for games, or maybe some animations, or there were some commercials and all this kind of stuff, and a lot of just still images, for the
Right. Okay.
websites or
So
yeah.
okay. So you started off as an artist, right? So did you go to
Yeah.
school learning about art?
No, by that time when I started doing all that, so we in Ukraine we didn't have any kind of like professions or specialities in the universities. So people
Um,
who wanted to learn something, it was like it wasn't like in Stone Age, but it was like 2000 2008, something like that. So we had some like kind of courses, but not in universities. So they were like separate, like maybe 2 3 months courses, just to get into like basic knowledge of computer graphics. And or people could learn just online, just because they could watch some videos or they could read some books. And there were a lot of these books translated like into you call it Ukrainian or Russian. So people were doing that. And also there were a lot of different forums that people can take information from. And so I was doing the same. So I was actually like studying myself, and at some point I started getting like some projects in, like freelance projects. And basically when you have a job, you're developing much faster than if you're just learning like something like on your own. And
mm,
yeah, so I kind of quit playing games at all, like completely. And at some point, I guess in 2015, like I have a friend, and I think it was his suggestion. Let's maybe try because he was saying like I'm learning coding right now, and graphics, so maybe we can do something together. Maybe we can just he didn't want to like create games like as a job. He just wanted to learn a little bit of coding, like get a bit deeper into it. And he asked me like maybe I could help him with making maybe some small game, and maybe you could release it on mobile, like. And I said like, yeah, it sounds interesting. So we tried it, and it was horrible. It was like super simple game. I mean
okay.
the graphics was pretty good. So but
So
but
your part was good, but then what your
yeah,
friend
yeah,
did
yeah.
wasn't so great.
No, he did a great job as well, but it just, it was super simple. It was like a spaceship just flying and shooting other spaceships, and there was no any kind of plot or any kind of. It was like super simple idea. So we just ended up releasing it on Google Play, and
Oh, okay.
we got like, I don't know, we got like maybe 500 downloads like within months. Like
Oh,
nothing.
that's a lot.
For
I mean, that's a
500.
lot for like your first game, right?
Yeah, I guess those were like our friends and friends of our friends and maybe family members, that kind of people. Because we didn't do any marketing, obviously, because we didn't know how to do that. We were just expecting like, okay, maybe we'll get some downloads. And we were very curious about how much revenue can get like a certain amount of downloads, because we were always thinking that people who have like applications there on Google Play or games with like millions of downloads, we were wondering, so how much you get per download? We didn't know how to calculate all this stuff. We were thinking like you get like revenue per download, even though it's free game. That was our game was free as well.
Oh, okay. So even from the very
Yeah.
beginning, you were thinking about how to make money from games?
That's the thing, like it wasn't exactly the purpose from the very beginning. But when we did it, we were thinking, okay, let's see, like just out of curiosity, like how much it can get, and it didn't get anything. Like there was like maybe a couple cents or something like that, because we didn't know even how to implement properly ads, so it was just like kind of random placement. We put some banner ad and maybe some interstitial ads, and that's it. But main purpose was just actually to get the idea how to work on it, how to create it, like how to publish it and all that kind of stuff. And then after that time, so we released it in 2015. We saw that there is nothing. Basically, there is no income, because it's just like nothing. And we just dropped this idea like for, I don't know, like I guess forever. For that time, we were thinking like we're not gonna come back to it, because it's like it takes. We also didn't know how to like build the pipeline when we were making it, because I was doing so many mistakes in terms of graphics, in terms of optimization of the graphics in the game. So even though it was a super simple game, it was like, I guess it was 70 megabytes. And because when I was making animation, it was 2D game, and what I was doing, I was creating 3D model, and I was rendering the 3D model and the animation of it, and I was rendering every single frame per animation. It was like even though it was 2D game, I was rendering every frame, so the animations were like the files of the graphics were super super big, not optimized at all. And because I was thinking this is how it's supposed to be, but we didn't know, and we didn't find any information by that time. I don't know why, but we didn't find any like proper information. So it was like kind of very very random things. And
Oh, okay.
so yeah, we dropped this idea, yeah, and then I came back to it in 2017. I don't know why. I was like, I just wanted to try, because I guess I was a bit tired of my job, like my profession, because I was doing more or less like, for me those, after I guess it was like 10th year more or less since I started doing computer graphics, so it
Right.
became routine, So I was like, okay, I kind of like it, but it's more right now it's routine. I don't want to do any projects for myself, not just like because I was doing for a job, and I quit doing something for myself, just to improve skills or just to show to people, to put in some galleries. And I was thinking I want to learn something new, maybe a bit of coding. And this time I tried to learn coding, and like the first thing that I kind of came up with, it was like, okay, I'm gonna try to make another mobile game, and I'm just gonna do it myself, like completely, from scratch. I'm just gonna find some maybe online tutorials or video courses, and I already know how to make graphics. I already have some experience with Unity, and so I'm just gonna learn coding, and I will see how it goes. And that's how I basically started. Yep.
Wow, that's such a huge process. So now that you're making all of your games by yourself, right? There must be like so many different parts to it. Like, oh, obviously
Yeah.
you've got the art covered because that's your expertise. But then you've
Yeah.
learned coding, and then there's like storyline and music. So is there a favorite part of it that you like doing? And how do you decide what you work on first?
The thing is, like, I guess, I mean, at the moment, for the first game, yeah, for the first game that I'm saying first game, it was that I made like completely was Ailment. So
Yeah.
that one is I've started like in 2017. I'm not counting that
So
one.
that's the first one you made? By
Yes,
yourself?
by myself. Yeah. So first one was Ailment. I started doing it in 2017, but then I dropped. I mean, I guess I was like on around, I don't know, maybe I made half of it, and then I got super tired because I was like working nonstop. I also had my job, and I'm still having my job, but like my permanent job, and I was still doing like my job, and at the same time after job, like, or it's kind of in between, maybe at lunch break or before job, I was doing the game. So it was, I kind of had two jobs at the same time. So I kind of burned out after 4 or 5 months of like working like that nonstop. And then I quit for a year. Yeah, for a year. So I dropped like in the, I guess in the end of the summer 2017, and I came back to it only in February of 2019. So it's like, I mean, more than a year, so one year and a half. And I had to kind of revise all of the knowledges that I had because I forgot everything, like totally. I was like,
Yeah,
oh
it's
my gosh.
been a few
I mean,
years.
I knew the interface, of Unity and all that kind of stuff. I still remember basics of coding, but I was like, oh my gosh, I don't remember anything. And that was actually one of the hardest part, like coming back to it, because I was thinking, okay, I forgot so much things. I have to kind of relearn them again. And I was like, and that's why it was one of the reasons why I was postponing it, like coming back to it, because I wanted to, like, during that 1.5 year, I wanted to come back to it like earlier, but because I was kind of thinking, oh, this kind of, I have to learn again, I have to remind myself all that kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll do it later, like, and then I end up like, but then like, I guess it was like my kind of, I forgot this word. On the New Year's Day, you make this
New Year's resolutions?
resolutions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that one was kind of one of my New Year's resolutions. So I was thinking, okay, so this year I'm gonna finish that game. I'm gonna finish Ailment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and I've set myself like a deadline because before I didn't have any deadlines. So when I started working on it back in 2017, and in 2019. I said like, okay, I'm gonna finish it like in 3 months, because I was thinking more or less it's gonna take 3 months to finish it, and I basically, okay, it maybe took 3.5, but I was pretty close, with the deadline,
Yeah.
and I didn't, for the Ailment, I did everything like myself except the music, because music, I mean, I could obviously I could download some stuff. I could maybe music and as well sounds as well. And sounds I've downloaded like from this it's pretty popular website. I think it's called freesound.org or something like that. And it's gonna be like a product placement right now, yeah. but um, but what happened is that I have a friend that he is doing like music professionally. So I asked him like, I'm making this game, and I don't have a budget for it. Like I'm just like, I'm not sure it's gonna work out. And what do you think? Like, how much would you charge for this amount of music and this amount of sounds? And he did like pretty good discount. So I was like, okay, I can go with that. And
Nice. So you had a friend.
yeah. So he's helping me. He helped me with endurance as well. So I hired him for music for endurance and for the sounds of endurance as well. And he helped me, yeah, with that one. But that one was like already. I didn't want him to make any discount again, because I was thinking, okay, I made some money with Ailment, so I can kind of hire him properly, like
That's
like
good. Yeah, supporting your
yeah,
friends.
yeah,
And the
exactly.
music is really nice. I
Yeah,
have watched the trailers and I played a bit of Endurance, and it's very immersive and scary.
yeah, yeah. That's what people say actually. Yeah, like they like the atmosphere. They like the like it's not like, I kind of say it's kind of horror-ish. It's not like
Yeah.
horror, but it has some kind of elements of it. So yeah, I guess kind of
Yeah, it
works.
gives like a thrilling vibe.
Yeah,
Keeps you on the
exactly.
edge of your seat.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you were kind of procrastinating finishing Ailment, right? And in the
Yeah.
past, you already worked with your friend. So what made you want to work by yourself? Like you already had experience with your friend and you know other people that can help out. So what was the reason behind doing everything like alone?
I guess the main thing was that that's what I figured out with time, that I'm kind of very bad working in a team. Like when it's not like when I'm not because for example, when I'm outsourcing, when I'm hiring someone, it's different. Like the one when you are working on this kind of same level with the person, like
Yeah, definitely.
you're not paying to other person. And for example, when we had some kind not conflicts, I can say there were conflicts, but it's like when you have different vision from your partner, yeah, like from the person you're working with, it's kind of stopping as well. So when we had some kind of these moments when we couldn't yeah, just kind of negotiate some things, I was kind of again procrastinating. So it was kind of like making I don't know, which is postponing all the time my kind of part, So and the project it was becoming like just in the time frame, which is becoming longer and longer. So that's why
Okay.
I said like if I work myself, I just have to deal with myself, I just have to. I mean, nothing was stopping me from changing my ideas, I didn't have to negotiate all that stuff. So it was much faster, it was much optimized, in terms of work. That's why for me it was easier to work on my own, because I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna add this feature, and like I don't have to like talk to anyone about that, because I just can do it, if I want to, and that's it. And that's actually what was helping me, and that's what I figured out, because like with time, because after I released Ailment, there were some like many people actually contacted me saying like, okay, you did this game, this is great, and they saw my video on the YouTube, and they were like, oh, we want to like let's team up, let's just make something together. And I was like saying, okay, let's try. And there was like some people that we were starting making project, and
Okay.
in the very beginning, like from the very beginning, I was like when I didn't see like for example, I was choosing the style and the kind of mood of the game, and the other person was saying like maybe let's change this and that, and I was like I wasn't sure that I'm gonna like it, so I was like okay, and I was postponing it again, like enough. So I didn't, even we were trying to find like this kind of resolution, but it just didn't work. So I just like I kind of dropped it. So I understood that okay, I for now I can hire people that can help me with music or art or whatever or code, but I mean I cannot work with someone kind of as a partner, like on the same level, without paying to the person and like saying okay, do what I want. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Since your
yeah,
game is like your own creation, like your own baby.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
So I noticed that both of your game have like the same art style with the pixel art, which I also love. How did you decide on that? Because obviously the things that you worked on before are kind of different. Like there's obviously lots of different types of art styles. And how did you decide on that? Is it inspired by maybe games that you played in the past?
This decision about pixel art, it came because I originally I'm doing computer graphics, and it's only 3D graphics, mostly 3D graphics.
Okay.
So I kind of knew how to make 3D graphics, 3D models, all that kind of stuff. But I understood that if I want to create like game like that, I would have to model a lot. I would have to create a lot of 3D models. I would have to texture them, all that kind of stuff, render them or whatever, and it's gonna take ages. And pixel art, what I like about it, so it's kind of simple in terms of like creation. So you don't have to have like drawing skills, like good drawing skills, or I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. So that was I guess the main idea, not to spend too much time on the graphics and still make it like pretty good. So that's why I chose that one, because I didn't want to spend like a year working on a project, because I was sure that I won't be able to like handle a year working on my own, just on a single game. And so I chose the Apex Layer for that, because it was super fast to learn. It was super fast to kind of create characters, animations, environment, all that kind of stuff. So and
Okay.
yep, yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Is that the same reason why you chose to create a mobile game? Like, I guess there's heaps of different platforms now. There's like PC,
Yeah.
console, and everything. And I know your games are on pretty much all platforms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
mainly designed as a mobile game. So how did you decide to choose mobile? Are you a mobile gamer?
no, actually, I before creating Ailment, I think I haven't played. No, I haven't. I maybe played some games on mobile, but not that many. The idea, yeah, again, it was like because I understood that I cannot compete with the people who are making like PC games or like console games for the with the companies or even like small teams because I don't have that much experience. I don't have that like just basically I'm just alone. I'm just it's not like we're a team. So that's why I chose like mobile because I thought, okay, I can compete maybe with, I mean, not with the biggest mobile games, but with many of them because there are so many bad ones, on the market. So I said like, okay, I'm just gonna try mobile. And then when I released it, I think I was watching some YouTube videos of some other like indie developers, and they were saying more. I mean, many of them they were saying like, oh, it's a good idea if you have an early a game, yeah. So you can port this to any kind of platform like Switch or PC or maybe Xbox or PlayStation, and um, and I thought, okay, in terms of the income, because I still understand that I cannot compete with those games, with the games on consoles or PC, but I still wanted to try just to figure out is it difficult to port a mobile game on a platform or on a console or a PC or whatever, and just to see maybe it's going to generate some extra income, actually it does. I mean, it's not great. It's not like great because it's still a very small game, but it does something. So it's pretty, and it was pretty interesting process, just to understand like how do you get those games to consoles. Yeah.
Yeah, you say that it's a small game, but it has quite a lot of downloads actually. And you say that
Yeah.
it's all organic, right? You don't spend much on ad campaigns and anything. So how did that
Mhm.
happen for you? Like, do you have a community of people that are like ready to download your new games and waiting for your updates and everything?
Yeah, that's the thing, like I was kind of curious, and this is what I actually found out, like also with time, because I had no idea how it all works, like I had no idea. So I thought like you're placing the game like in the market, and then people started downloading it, and then when it started to drop, what do you do? What people do when downloads starting to drop like after a couple of months or like after half a year? How they maintain this amount of downloads or even increase it? Because I think like games are dying slowly. Like so the day you publish it, it started to die slowly. Like
Oh,
and then I was thinking, so maybe they just make another game, and then this is the process how they do it all the time. So they just making a game, placing it, then it started to get less downloads, and then you make another game, and then this is how you continue living. This is how you continue. And then I figured out that people actually are having these ad campaigns that, and in order to make it profitable, you have to get certain amount of revenue from each person, and then the ad revenue has to be higher than actually the opposite. But this LTV, like parameters, they have to be uh, higher than the amount of money that you spend on ads, and this is like this difference. This is actually your income, like that you get, and the more ads you post about your game, the more amount of downloads and more amount of revenue you get, and this is how they do it. But in order to do that, you have to get a pretty good amount of revenue for each person that downloads your game, and this is not I mean, both of my games, like Endurance and Ailment, it's not that case. They don't get that amount, that good amount of revenue enough to make me posting ads about like in AdSense or whatever in different ad networks, because I don't and my only option is actually getting organic traffic. Otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't be able. And in order to get organic traffic, you have to maintain certain kind of requirements of the game, and those are basically like keeping the good rate of your game, making updates, then answer to your players, like on all of their comments. not all, I don't know, is it all of their comments or just like the only bad ones? I answer to all of them. So just to be sure that I get some, organic traffic, because this is actually the only way for me to maintain it like more or less on a stable level of revenue, so I can make
Yeah, yeah.
other games. But
So, which platform do you use to keep in touch with your player base?
basically, I don't have any
Everywhere.
platforms. Yeah, just basically what I'm doing. I'm just answering. Uh, I've got like in my games, I've got implemented kind of. There's a question in my game that asks at a certain amount of like at a certain level, it asks people whether they want to kind of subscribe for my newsletters. So
Mm-hmm.
and then some of them I'd say maybe 5% or less subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, for example, when I release a new game, I can send them like an email just saying, okay, guys, I'm releasing this game. You want to play it? And yeah, this is basically how I'm doing that. I don't have any like Discord or that I'm using for these purposes. Or I have Twitter, but it doesn't get that many. Not that many people are following it. Some people like are following my YouTube channel, but those are mostly indie developers, not players. So, but
Yeah.
it also helps when I release the game. It also helps to get some extra downloads because people just wanted to check or I don't know whatever. So it's pretty
Yeah.
interesting. So I
So
guess
how?
yeah.
So I was going to ask. So how often do you update the game to make sure that like people keep checking on your page or keep checking your game?
I'm trying to do it at least once a month. So because sometimes I guess the very first half a year since you published the game, it's very intense because I guess I was making even more often updates because there were some bugs or I wanted to add some features or people were like massively asking for adding this or that or fix this and that, and I was doing that. So I guess I was maybe making updates every week, like once a week I was making update.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
right now after half a year I do it like yeah, I guess once a month, just to add maybe some like just very small stuff because I'm currently working on my third game, so I don't do any like big updates on the previous ones. Maybe just some small stuff, or maybe I'll while working on the third game, I'm figuring out okay, I can change something in my previous like because I figured out this or that, and I'm implementing those stuff in my previous games. So yeah, but not that often. But I every morning I start with answering to the comments. This is like my morning. Is like I'm just and it doesn't matter if it's 1 star or if it's 5 stars. I'm answering. I'm trying to answer to all of them. And I guess right now I'd say maybe 95% of the comments are answered. Like for month because I know that if you postpone it and it's gonna be so many comments that you won't be able to like. So that's why I'm doing it every single morning. Like I'm waking up and I'm okay. I'm just gonna check comments. I'm gonna answer to all of them just to say if it's 5 star comment and there's nothing like people say no, it's a cool game, it's a great game. I'm just saying like thank you, blah blah blah. Like just very very short. But still, I think I don't know. Maybe Google counts it like the Google Play Engine maybe counts it like that are all of the comments are answered or not. I have no idea. I mean, I know that because in the official documentation, it says that you have to. It's good kind of idea to answer to the comments, but I don't know. Do you have to answer to all of them or just like to the bad ones? So
No,
yeah,
I'm sure it's great engagement and it's good for the community to hear back from you. Like you're the one who made the game and it must make their day that the person that made the game that they like just answered them.
yeah. That's actually a lot of people are saying that like, oh, I'm surprised. Like, I never get any kind of response from developers, and you're the first one who actually answered to me. Like, so this is pretty
Yeah.
flattering.
It
Very,
really
very nice.
shows that you care about your game and it's
Yeah,
good because then they'll keep coming back for your
yeah,
next game, which you're making now. So now that you're updating the other two games and you're also working on a third game, how
yeah.
do you have time to balance everything?
It's kind of harsh right now, like that's why I'm thinking like at some point I'm probably going to hire a person or something like just to help me out, some kind of assistant or I don't know, maybe someone who just at least can take some parts of this, at least maybe answer into the comments or maybe to do some social media. I don't know, whatever. But I mean, for now, it's kind of it's getting harder because the more games you make, the more you have to answer to the comments and do this kind of stuff and making also updates. But yeah, I guess I'll like at some point for sure I'm gonna with the third game after the third game is published. I think I'm gonna hire someone to help me out with that.
Cool. Have you updated? Have you released any information about this third game yet?
No, nothing. I'm just it's because it's still I was postponing. So since I've launched Endurance, it was in June, I think, in June of 2020. So the rest half a year basically took me to port it to another platforms and also just to like fix some bugs, add some features because people were asking. There were so many people asking like, and they had actually pretty good. Some players are having like really good ideas, and then I'm using those because when I'm reading comments, like I understand like for example when there's like 10 people asking for the same kind of thing, they're asking like I don't know like make the character faster or maybe add this kind of like markers on the map or whatever just to make it kind of easier to play or maybe more interesting or more engaging. And when it's like 10, when it's not like one person or two person, when it's like 10 people, then I probably it's better to add that feature, because that makes sense, for many people. And I'm doing that. I'm just trying to listen to what people say. And
Okay.
so a lot of people for both Ailment and Endurance, they were asking for the multiplayer. And I've added multiplayer in Ailment, but it's not that great because it's very simple. But there's no kind of progress in it, so it just basically kind of very short matches you play, and I don't know. When I just did it, it was kind of cool for me, but right now as I'm seeing it, I don't really like it. But so what I decided to do, I wanted to have kind of similar setting, similar kind of atmosphere with the third game, but I wanted to make it like just basically entirely multiplayer, just to see
Okay.
if people gonna like it. So it's gonna be kind of similar setting. There probably won't be any kind of like plot. It's gonna be basically, I'd say, I mean, there will be some kind of vibes from the previous games. So also
Okay.
like a sci-fi theme, but it's going to be just entirely multiplayer, but with the progress, so you can progress, you can like it's like it's very common thing right now. So you're like upgrading your stats, you're upgrading your armor, your weapon, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be like that, more or less like that. And if people would say, I'm having kind of backup plan, as well, because I think if people if people don't like it, or they're gonna say like, okay, I'm just bored with multiplayer, like it's boring, there's no kind of there was no story, there is nothing. So I'm just gonna make a story. I'm just gonna make with the same game. I'm gonna have another kind of mode, like a story mode, and yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of reuse the same graphics, and just gonna create another story. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think the story will be linked? Because I know that the other two games are linked.
For sure. Maybe it's not gonna be the same like characters, maybe just gonna be kind of similar world, but maybe different story. And they're probably, I mean, for sure, if I make a story, there will be some mentions about what was happening, like maybe in some dialogues of the character, just to kind of link at least a little bit, just to have kind of this kind of Easter egg to connect the stories. But for sure, it's gonna be the same world, it's the same universe. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you've already thought about the storyline, even though you might not have a story mode.
Actually, no, I haven't. But I will, for sure I will. Maybe like, I don't know whether I'm gonna do it myself, as I did it like with the previous games, or maybe this time I'm gonna hire someone professional that, because the story that I come up with, they're pretty, I'd say, not generic, but they're like from the kind of merged from all of the movies that I've saw, like sci-fi movies, like Alien or the other like space movies. And for many people like who watched all those movies, it's kind of pretty boring because pretty like predictable, I'd say, the story twists and all that kind of stuff. So I was thinking maybe if I hire someone like who is actually doing that, who's writing like some books or maybe stories or whatever, it's going to be more interesting because it's going to be more professional, not that predictable. Yeah, might work better. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to me. We had a lot of questions and I've learned a lot about you. Is there anything else you want to share before we end this interview?
Uh, I don't know. I just maybe wanted to say to people that who are watching us that I guess the most important thing in if you work in solo, if you work in like as a, or maybe even if you're not working solo, if you work in like just is independent small studio, the best thing is actually to keep working, keep finishing your project. It doesn't matter if it's bad, if it does look bad, if you're not like satisfied completely, just finish the first one, and you're just gonna learn so much experience that you can continue later on with other projects. Because the most important is just to finish your first one. You know, that's what's gonna make you proud of yourself as well, and it's gonna give you forces to carry on with other projects.
That's true. That's really good advice. You can apply that to lots of other fields as well,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
not just game development. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Ivan. It's
Thank
very
you.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you so much for having me again.